Hello everybody. So this is a short topic and an important topic that I am taking today, which is immune thrombocytopenic purpura (ITP), also known as immune thrombocytopenia. So ITP, as it is commonly known, it can be either primary or secondary, and in ITP there is autoimmune destruction of the platelets. So the antibodies are formed against the platelets. Generally they are IgG class antibodies. This is important for MCQ. And what happens, these antibodies, they will coat these platelets, and the Fc receptor for this immunoglobulin antibodies, these are present on the macrophages, and then these macrophages will engulf and destroy these platelets. So this is antibody mediated destruction of the platelets. And primary, it is diagnosed after ruling out all the secondary causes, because in the primary ITP the cause is unknown. It is also known as idiopathic. Then secondary causes can be HIV infection, certain B cell neoplasms like chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Now there are two types of ITP. One is chronic ITP, other is acute ITP. In both there are autoantibodies against platelets, GP1b9 or GP2b3A. So these glycoproteins, they are present on the surface of platelets, and antibodies are formed against these glycoproteins. And the platelets, they are opsonized by the immunoglobulins, and then they are recognized by the receptor Fc immunoglobulin on the phagocytes, and these phagocytes will cause the destruction of those opsonized platelets. Now spleen is a major site which removes the damaged platelets. All those platelets which are damaged by the macrophages, they are removed by the spleen. So sometimes splenectomy is done in certain cases of refractory ITP or relapse ITP, and that improves the platelet count. Clinically very important. This is important for the problem based questions. We should know the clinical details. It is chronic one. It is seen commonly in the adult female less than 40 years. Female is more than male, more commonly seen in the females, and clinically there will be petechiae, ecchymosis, easy bruising, gum bleeding or GI bleeding following trivial trauma. So these points are important because these will help us in solving the problem based questions. Now no organomegaly is seen in case of chronic ITP, but in case of secondary causes like CLL, chronic lymphocytic leukemia, there can be organomegaly also. In this image we can see there are numerous petechiae. The petechiae, they are small, 1 to 2 millimeter size hemorrhages which are seen. So these are mostly seen in the clinical presentation of ITP. Now about the investigation, again these are very important. So first of all we do the general blood picture. We make a peripheral smear, stain it and see. So first of all thrombocytopenia will be seen. The platelet count will be decreased. Normal platelet count is 1.5 to 4 lakh per cubic mm, and by the automated analyzer we do the platelet count and it will be decreased. And also you will see in the smear there will be decreased platelets, and these are the RBCs, and platelets are decreased. And here we can see there is a giant platelet. The size of platelet, normally it is about 2 to 4 millimeters, but here you can see the size of platelet has increased. It's almost the size of the RBC. So this is a giant platelet, and it is seen in case of ITP. Certain other conditions can also show giant platelets like May-Heglin anomaly or Bernard-Solier syndrome, and here also giant platelets are seen. Next is bone marrow. So if we are suspecting ITP, then we order the bone marrow examination of the patient, and since there is peripheral destruction of the platelets and there is no problem in the production of the megakaryocytes, there is no problem in the defect in the bone marrow, there is no problem with production. So the megakaryocytes, they increase in number. So there is reactive increase in the number of megakaryocytes, and the megakaryocytes, here you can see all these are the megakaryocytes, and they will show decreased platelet burden because sometimes these antibodies are also acting against these megakaryocytes. So these are the number of megakaryocytes which are increased. Now next, there is bleeding time. So bleeding time will be prolonged because the platelet number has decreased. So normal bleeding time is 2 to 9 minutes, so it will be prolonged. Next, Hess capillary test, again it will be positive. So in platelet defects, the Hess capillary test is positive. Then autoantibody detection can be done, but it is not sensitive or specific. So generally these tests are usually done, and this test is avoided because it is neither sensitive nor specific. And the test for coagulation will be done if the patient presenting with the fatigue purpura. Then sometimes the coagulation tests are also done, like PT, APTT. They will be absolutely normal because there is no defect with the coagulation system. Now next is acute ITP. So acute ITP we have to differentiate from the chronic ITP. This is important for solving the problem-based questions. So how does the acute differ from the chronic? In acute ITP, the duration of symptoms will be less than 6 months because it is acute, and chronic the duration will be prolonged duration, like more than 6 months. Acute is commonly seen in children, while chronic is seen in adults, and that too in female. Now, past history of viral illness is very commonly seen in acute ITP. Again, this point is given in the problem-based question. It's important to know. And this history will be like about 1 to 2 weeks back, the patient will give history of a viral prodrome, while this history is typically absent in a chronic ITP. Now, acute ITP affects both male and females equally, while chronic is 3 times more common in the females. Next, the treatment of acute ITP. The acute ITP is generally, it occurs in children and it is self-limiting. Generally, no treatment is required and it resolves within 6 months. And sometimes if there is severe thrombocytopenia or if there are hemorrhagic manifestations, then steroids can be given sometimes. While chronic, it requires treatment, and multiple treatment options are available in chronic ITP. What are the treatment options? For acute ITP, which it is self-limiting and mostly, then steroids are given in severe thrombocytopenia, while in chronic ITP, the steroids can be given. So steroids, they are immunosuppressants, so they will decrease the production of the antibodies, they will suppress the reticuloendothelial system. So in this way they will act in improving the chronic ITP. Next, splenectomy is done because spleen is the site where these platelets are removed. So splenectomy helps in increasing the platelet count. It is usually given in case of relapse or if the ITP is refractory. And intravenous anti-D is also one of the treatment options. So although it is not so popular, so in this the anti-D which is given to the patient, and these anti-D, they coat the RBCs because the D antigen is present in the RBCs, and now these RBCs will be phagocytosed by the macrophages. They will compete with those platelets for the phagocytosis. So in this way the platelets will be less phagocytosed. So this is the mechanism, but sometimes this therapy is not that popular because it can cause the increased hemolysis of the RBCs sometimes. Next is intravenous immunoglobulin and rituximab, that is monoclonal antibody for CD20. It is given in cases of relapse even after splenectomy. So intravenous immunoglobulin, it will act by impairing the clearance of the platelets that are opsonized. So this immunoglobulin, it will bind to macrophage. Instead of that, it will compete with that platelet which is coated by the IgG, and it will thus impair the clearance of these platelets by the macrophages and help in increasing the platelet count. Then rituximab, it is CD20 monoclonal antibody. So this will act by this is the CD20 is a marker for the B cells. So it will help in reducing the number of B cells that produce those antibodies, because you know that B cells, they form the plasma cells and which ultimately form the antibodies. So rituximab will help in reducing the number of B cells, and that are responsible for producing those autoantibodies through the plasma cells. Then TPO mimetics, thrombopoietin mimetics, they are also used in the treatment. Example is romiflostin. So this is one of the TPO mimetics that can be used for the treatment. So these treatment options are important, and again they are also asked in various problem based questions. So this was all about the ITP. and let us solve few MCQs to clear the concepts in this disease, and these MCQs are very commonly asked in the exams. So first is, for the past 6 months a 35-year-old woman has experienced an heavy menstrual flow each month. She noticed increasing number of pinpoint hemorrhages, so that means petechiae, on her lower extremities in the past month. Physical examination shows no organomegaly or lymphadenopathy. CBC shows hemoglobin of 14.2 gram per dl, so this is normal. Hematocrit is normal, 42.5%. MCV is again normal. Platelet count is decreased, 19,000 per cubic millimeter. Normal count is 1.5 to 4 lakh per cubic millimeter, so this is very less. WBC count is normal, 6950. Normal count is 4,000 to 11,000 per cubic millimeter. On admission to the hospital, she has melena, that is blood in the stools, and it's given a transfusion of platelets. She is given a platelet transfusion, but her platelet count does not increase. That means the platelets are transfused, but the count is not increasing. It means that there is some destruction of the platelets that are being infused to the patient. Emergency splenectomy is performed and platelet count increases. So splenectomy is increasing the platelet count, which describes the basis for her bleeding tendency. So one is abnormal production of platelets by the megakaryocytes, so suppression of pluripotent stem cells, destruction of antibody coated platelets by the spleen, this is ITP, and excessive loss of platelets in the blood, menstrual blood, this is not the answer. Defective platelet endothelial interaction, so answer is C, destruction of antibody coated platelets by the spleen. And what are the clues? The clues are, first of all, there is thrombocytopenia, it is decreased count in the history. There is history of 6 months, she is a female, and there is presence of petechiae. Next, the platelet count. This is the most important clue, that the platelet count is not increasing despite the transfusion of platelets. So that means the platelets are being peripherally destroyed, and that happens in the ITP, which is destruction of antibody coated platelets by the spleen. And again, splenectomy is improving the platelet count, that again favors the diagnosis of ITP. So this is the explanation. Patient bleeding tendency caused by low platelet count likely has ITP, in which platelets are destroyed in the spleen after being coated with the IgG antibodies. So because the spleen is the source of antibody and the site of destruction, so splenectomy is beneficial as it is in this case. And production of platelets, there is no defect, and suppression of pluripotent stem cells give rise to the aplastic anemia, and in the aplastic anemia there will be pancytopenia. Again, platelet function is normal in ITP. So by these explanation we can come to the diagnosis, come to the right answer, that is C. Next question is 42-year-old female. Again, history is given in a female. 42-year-old. She has nosebleed, easy bruising, bleeding, increased bleeding in her menstrual periods, that is menorrhagia. History is of 4 months. Then physical examination, temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, pulse is normal, respiratory rate is again normal, BP is decreased. She has scattered petechiae over the distal extremities. So the patient is having a bleeding tendency. There is no organomegaly. Again, you see that organomegaly, lymphadenopathy, it is generally absent in a case of ITP until unless there is a secondary cause like CLL. So in all the problem-based questions, generally they will be giving that there is no organomegaly, no lymphadenopathy. Now in the lab studies, hemoglobin is 12.3, it is normal. Hematocrit is again normal. Count is decreased, 21,500 per cubic milliliter. WBC count is normal. Bone marrow biopsy is showing marked increase in megakaryocytes. So megakaryocytes are markedly increased in the megakaryocytes. The prothrombin time and the partial thromboplastin time, PTT and PT, they are within the normal reference range. What is the diagnosis? So again, in this PT and PTT, they are within normal range. So there is all the coagulation disorders, they will be ruled out, like this DIC, hemophilia, then TTP, vitamin K deficiency, von Willebrand disease. All these will be ruled out. And also in metastatic breast carcinoma, she will not be having this thrombocytopenia. And the answer again here will be ITP, because in ITP, the megakaryocytes, they are markedly increased in the bone marrow because there is no defect in the platelet production, but the defect is in the peripheral destruction of platelets. Because of that, the bone marrow will produce more megakaryocytes. So the thrombocytopenia with increased megakaryocytes in the bone marrow, it points to the diagnosis of ITP, and supporting evidence are presence of the disease in the female, and there are the history of the petechiae over the extremities. So this is the explanation for this. So this is how we come to the diagnosis of ITP in such a case. And also one more point, that in DIC and in TTP, in both of these there will be microangiopathic hemolytic anemia. The history of that also will be given. Now here there is no anemia, so we can rule out these two by this, DIC and TTP. And also in DIC, the PT and PTT, they will be prolonged. So this is how we have to consider each option, and then we have to arrive to a diagnosis, that is ITP. Next question is, 9-year-old boy developed bruises on the extremities. On physical examination, he has ecchymosis and petechiae on his arms and legs. Lab studies show hemoglobin 13.8, again hemoglobin is okay. Hematocrit is normal. And platelet count is again decreased, 22,300 per cubic millimeter. WBC count is 7720, it is normal. He had respiratory syncytial virus pneumonia 3 weeks ago. So there is a history of a viral prodrome that 3 weeks ago. So a viral infection history, it is generally seen in acute ITP, and condition is improving with corticosteroid therapy. So we know that in acute ITP, it is a self-limiting disease, but sometimes when there is marked thrombocytopenia or bleeding tendency, then steroid therapy is given, which is curative. Now, which of the following abnormality is most likely to cause this hemorrhagic diathesis? So the options are anti-platelet antibodies, bone marrow aplasia, glycoprotein 2B 3A dysfunction, vitamin C deficiency, which is there is a collagen defect in vitamin C deficiency, a vascular disorder, and von Willebrand factor metalloproteinase deficiency. So again the answer will be, we have diagnosis is acute ITP, so answer will be anti-platelet antibodies. In acute ITP, there are anti-platelet antibodies, again the glycoprotein receptors. So the answer will be A. These are the two questions from another book. All the following statements are correct about treatment in chronic ITP, except most of the patients respond to the immunosuppressive doses of glucocorticoids. This is true, especially in case of acute ITP. Relapse is rare. This is false, because relapse is very common in chronic ITP, and because of which the numerous treatment options are there, like the intravenous immunoglobulins and the rituximab. So that and splenectomy, those options are because of the relapse. First line treatment is steroids like glucocorticoids. Then splenectomy is a treatment of choice for relapse. So it is given. Splenectomy is given in case of relapse only. It is not the first line of treatment. Minority have refractory forms of ITP and difficult to treat. This is also true. So the answer is B. Relapse is rare. This is false, because relapse is quite common in chronic ITP. Splenectomy is useful in which of the following? So splenectomy is a treatment option for chronic ITP, not for sickle cell anemia, not for TB, not for Goodpasture syndrome. So the answer is chronic ITP. So I hope these MCQs and the topic, the important point given in the topic, they are useful for you. These are the references. Thank you so much. And any questions, they are most welcome in the comment section. You can write your query there. Thank you so much.